What it do? What it do? What it do? You sitting down? You better sit down. Because what I'm about to put on this table right now, it's going to make every single person who's been quietly watching this Claressa Shields situation finally exhale. Finally. Because for the first time, the ground is shifting under her feet, and she don't even know it. She don't even feel it. She's still up there cracking jokes, going live, posting like the world owe her an apology for paying attention. But baby, the world ain't asking for no apology no more. The world done went and got a pen. The world done went and got a clipboard. And the world is signing. There is a real, live, breathing petition out here right now with her name stamped on it like a wanted poster. Not a tweet, not a meme, not somebody venting in a comment section. A petition, with signatures, adding up, stacking up, climbing every single hour while she still got her phone in her hand thinking she winning. And the wildest part, the part that's going to make your jaw drop on the floor, is that this petition ain't even the real story. The real story is what's hiding behind it. The real story is who's signing it. The real story is why now. And the real story, the part nobody on YouTube is touching yet, is what these signatures could legally trigger if they hit a certain number. We getting into all of it. Lock in. Let me hit you with something first, because I want your brain to be ready. They say all attention is good attention. They say all promotion is good promotion. They say bad press still press. And for 99% of celebrities, that's true. Donald Trump been called everything but a child of God, and he's still got an army of supporters. Kanye been canceled 6 times and still selling out arenas. Diddy in a federal cage and still got people online defending him. Bad press normally builds a base. Bad press normally creates a tribe. Bad press normally splits a room down the middle. Half love you, half hate you. But everybody talking, and talking pays the bills. That's the rule. That's the law of the internet. That's how it works for almost everybody. Almost everybody. Except her. Claressa Shields is the rare case where the more the world finds out about her, the smaller her circle gets. The more eyes that land on her, the fewer hands clap. The more her name trends, the more support evaporates. It's like watching ice melt in a microwave. It's like watching a sandcastle take a wave. Every time she opens her mouth, somebody else closes their wallet. Every time she goes on live, another blogger that was on the fence falls off into the hate her camp. And the math on that is terrifying if you're a publicist, if she even still got one. Because she don't have a single, not one, not a single major blogger writing for her right now. Not one. Go look. Go scroll. Go through every single page that covers women's boxing, women's drama, celebrity affairs, urban culture, all of it. Find me one. Find me a name. You can't. Because they don't exist. She is more universally disliked online right now than presidents, than convicted felons, than reality stars who got caught doing the unspeakable. Let that marinate. Let that sit on your tongue. How do you get there? How do you get to a place where even the people who pretend to be neutral can't fake it for you no more? You don't get there overnight. You don't get there by accident. You get there by being consistent. And that's what's so wild about her. She is consistent. She never has a slip-up moment where she shows you a different side. She never has that one clip that goes viral where she look human, where she look kind, where she look like somebody who could change. Every single time the camera turn on, she serve you the same plate. Same arrogance. Same audacity. Same disregard. Same disrespect. Same finger-in-your-face energy. Same I don't care who it hurts smirk. And the public has memorized the recipe. They taste it the second she opens her mouth. They know what's coming. And they tired of the meal. Now let me walk you backwards through this thing. Because everybody else covering this story is starting from today and trying to piece it forward. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to start at the petition and walk you back, step by step, domino by domino, until we end up at the very first crack. Because when you do it that way, you see something nobody is showing you. You see a pattern. You see a trail. You see a woman who didn't trip and fall. You see a woman who walked, with her own 2 feet, with her eyes wide open, into the exact spot she's standing in right now. Domino number 1, the petition itself. Real document. Real platform. Real signatures. The language on it is asking for her to be removed, revoked, stripped, replaced as a face of the sport. Not suspended. Not warned. Removed. That's a level of energy that don't get put on an athlete unless the public has fully, completely, all the way checked out on you. Petitions like this one, when they pick up momentum, they become evidence. They become exhibits. They become things that sponsors look at, that boards look at, that commissions look at, that brands look at when they decide whether your face goes on a poster or whether your contract gets quietly not renewed. People think a petition is just a complaint. It's not. A petition is a paper trail. A petition is a receipt. A petition is the public showing up in writing to say we no longer consent. And once that exists in writing, the boardroom conversation changes forever. They can't say nobody complained no more. They got the printout. Domino number 2, who exactly is signing? This is the part that should chill her bones. Black women are signing. Black women. The same demographic that historically circles the wagons around any black woman in trouble, even when she dead wrong, even when she controversial, even when she been problematic. That demographic, the one that ride for Megan, the one that ride for Cardi, the one that ride for everybody, that demographic is putting their name down to remove her. That has never happened at this scale for a black woman in boxing. Never. You go look up the history. You go look up every female fighter who ever caught heat. None of them ever lost the floor of black women. None. She did the impossible. She did what nobody thought was possible. She lost the people who would have defended her in their sleep. Domino number 3, why she lost them. This goes back to the affair. The Papoose situation. The Remy situation. The interfering with a marriage that had history, that had children, that had public intimacy that the culture had bought stock in for over a decade. People didn't just like Remy and Pap. People believed in them. People used them as the gold standard of hood love. People referenced their wedding photos when they argued with their boyfriends. That marriage was a flag the culture planted in the ground. And she walked over that flag in heels. She didn't just step on it. She stomped. She bragged. She posted. She smiled in the camera knowing the wife was watching. And then, when she got called out, instead of falling back, she came on live and tried to spin it like God himself handed her this man. Like the affair was divinely ordered. Like the wife was the obstacle to a holy plan. That right there, that one move, that one statement, that's the hill her whole reputation is dying on. Because once you bring God into a sin and try to make him your co-signer, the church folks come for you. The spiritual folks come for you. The secular folks come for you. The atheists come for you. Everybody comes for you. There's nowhere to hide. You ain't even got a corner of the room left. Domino number 4, the hardening. After the wife confronted, after the public reacted, after the bloggers started covering it daily, she should have went silent. Anybody with sense, anybody with a publicist, anybody with one good friend would have went silent. Just let the news cycle move. Just let another scandal happen and pull the spotlight. That's how you survive. That's the playbook. Instead, she went the opposite direction. She got louder. She got bolder. She got messier. She started doing lives every other day. She started antagonizing other women in the sport. She started picking fights with bloggers. She started threatening to fight regular women in the comments. Each one of those moves was a fresh nail, fresh hammer, fresh coffin board. She was building her own situation while telling herself she was defending it. This is the spiritual piece I want you to sit with for a second. You ever met somebody who literally cannot hear? You can sit them down, you can speak slow, you can use small words, you can use big words, you can write it on a piece of paper, you can put it in a song, and they still hear nothing. There's a story in the book of 1 Samuel about a priest named Eli, and Eli had 2 sons. These boys were doing wickedness in the temple, dirty, disrespectful, taking what wasn't theirs, doing what shouldn't be done. And the wild thing the Bible says is that when warning came to them, they could not receive it. The text says God had already determined their end, and so he hardened their ability to even hear correction. Their own ears stopped working on them. Not because warning didn't come. Warning came every single day. But the lid was on. The door was closed. Their reasoning was sealed shut. And by the time the consequence rolled in, it was already too late to dodge. I'm not saying she Eli's son. I'm saying the pattern feel familiar. Because how is it that every blogger, every podcaster, every YouTuber, every commentator, every regular woman in her DMs, every man in her DMs, every fighter in her weight class, every promoter quietly behind the scenes, every fan, every former fan, every neutral observer, all of them is saying some version of the same thing, and she still cannot hear it? How is that possible? How is your hearing that broken? How is your filter that strong? Either she is the most willfully deaf woman in boxing history, or something else is going on. Something we can't see. Something working underneath. And whatever it is, it's not protecting her. It's positioning her. Domino number 5. And this is the one that should make every brand currently in business with her start looking at the exit. Female boxing is in a moment. A real moment. The sport finally got mainstream eyeballs. Netflix is filming. Fight Cards is selling out. Pay-per-views is doing numbers nobody thought was possible 10 years ago. And the women in the sport know it. They know this is the window. They know this is the time when generational money is on the table. And they don't want a face on the front of the sport that makes the sport look bad, because every time her face is on the front, every brand decision maker looks at the noise around her and starts thinking maybe boxing for women still ain't ready for the big sponsor bag. She is single-handedly slowing the bag for everyone. And the women are not stupid. The women see it. The women feel it. The women is talking. And when the women in your own field is signing the same petition the public is signing, what you got? You got an industrial strength problem. You got the inside and the outside both pushing in the same direction. There's no escape valve. Now here's the part nobody is saying out loud. I'ma say it because that's what we do here at Battle Truth. The reason this petition matters more than any other petition that ever circulated about her is because boxing is not Hollywood. Boxing has commissions. Boxing has licenses. Boxing has governing bodies. And those bodies, the ones that approve fights, the ones that sanction belts, the ones that grant the right to step in the ring, they answer to public pressure when it's organized. They answer to public pressure when it's documented. They answer to public pressure when somebody can stand up at a hearing and say, here is the will of the people, on paper, with signatures, in writing, please take it under advisement. That's how license reviews start. That's how character clauses get triggered. That's how a fighter quietly stops getting big money fights, big network deals, big budget promotions. Not with a bang, with a quiet meeting, where her name comes up and an executive looks at the petition and shrugs and goes, you know what, let's wait. Let's see how this plays out. Let's go in another direction this season. And just like that, your career is bleeding from the inside, and you don't even know which cut started it. That's why you better stop sleeping on this petition. Now let me address what some of y'all is thinking, because I know you. I've been in the comments section. I see y'all. Some of y'all is going to say, but what about her belts? What about her record? What about the historic accomplishments? What about the fact that, on paper, she is statistically one of the most decorated fighters of her generation, male or female? What about that? That's a real question, and I'm gonna give you a real answer. The answer is, accolades only protect you while the public is still rooting for the version of you they thought you was. The second the public decides they was wrong about you, the accolades become invisible. They become museum pieces. They become things on a wall that nobody reads. You think the world remembers Mike Tyson for his belts? Maybe a little. But mostly the world remembers him for the controversy, the bite, the tattoo, the trial, the fall, and the redemption arc. The belts is footnotes. The character is the headline. Always. Every time. For everybody. And right now, her character is the headline, and the character is bad. The accolades is sitting in the corner getting dusty while the headline is on fire. So no, the belts don't save her. The belts is the thing she clings to in interviews like a life jacket made of paper. I want to do something now. I want to put some real-world weight on this for you. So it ain't just my opinion. We have seen this exact movie play out before. We have seen athletes with elite resumes lose everything because the public stopped tolerating their behavior. We have seen Olympic-level talent get quietly removed from sponsorship rosters. We have seen world champions watch their endorsement deals not get renewed without ever getting an explanation. We have seen Golden Era legends become unbookable because their personal life became a liability nobody wanted to insure. The graveyard is full of trophies that didn't save nobody. Trophies don't pay your rent when the bag is gone. Trophies don't comfort you when the comments turn into a daily flood. Trophies don't restore your name when even your own demographic has signed off on you being removed. Trophies is decoration. The career is the structure. And the structure is termites all the way through right now. Let's talk about Pap real quick because I'm not letting him off the hook. People keep wanting to make this story all about her. And yeah, she the main character, but he is not innocent in this play. He participated. He showed up. He signed the contracts of the affair. He chose money over his marriage, fame over his family, and a public mistress over the woman who held him down through the trenches. Even understanding that she pursued him, even understanding that she allegedly waved that bag in his face, he still had a choice. Every single morning he woke up, he had a choice. Every single time his phone lit up, he had a choice. Every single hotel he walked into, he had a choice. He chose wrong. Repeatedly. For years. While the wife sat at home with kids that share his last name. So when this thing collapses, and it will, he going down in the same elevator. Don't let the camera angle fool you. They riding the same descent. Remy is in this conversation too because she is participating in something weird. For years of this rumor, for years of silence, for years of public posing, while privately the household structure was clearly fractured. Either the love really is that strong, or the contract is that strong, or the brand is that strong, or something else is going on we don't know. But for our purposes today, just know that Remy is not the villain in this story, but she is a participant in the play. And the audience is watching everybody on the stage, not just the lead. Back to her, because I want to bring this in for a landing. The reason this season of her life is different from every other controversy she ever had. The reason this one is not going to blow over the way the others did. The reason this one is the one is because the public has finally connected all the dots. Before, every scandal was a one-off. The trash talk in the press conference, that was just trash talk. The disrespectful interview, that was just a bad day. The arrogance after a fight, that was just the heat of the moment. The fight she ducked, That was just business. People used to give her the benefit of the doubt because the dots was scattered. Now the dots is connected. The dots forms a picture. And the picture is of a woman who has, over years, repeatedly chosen disrespect as a personality, repeatedly chosen division as a strategy, and repeatedly chosen herself as the only character that matters in any room she walks into. Once the public sees the picture, they don't unsee it. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. You can't unring that bell. You can't recover the benefit of the doubt once the public has filed it away under closed case. Let me circle back to one thing I glossed over because it deserves its own moment. The way she came on live to address everything, that was not an apology. That was not a clarification. That was a press conference for her own arrest. Every word out of her mouth dug the hole 1 inch deeper. Every justification she offered confirmed 3 more accusations the public had been making. Every defensive posture she took proved the offensive position the bloggers had been pushing. It was a masterclass in how not to handle a scandal. And the most painful part is, the people around her either didn't tell her or did tell her, and she didn't listen. Either possibility is bad. One says she got nobody real in her corner. The other says she got people in her corner and ignores them. Pick your poison. Either way, the result is the same. Think about the women in her DMs right now. Not the haters. The ones who used to support her. The ones who bought her merch. The ones who taught their daughters her name. The ones who sat through interviews and said, "See, that's a strong black woman doing it for us." Those women is quiet right now. Those women is sitting on their hands. Those women is the ones who hurt the most because they invested belief in a story that turned out to be different than the cover. That betrayal of belief is the deepest wound a public figure can inflict, and it is the hardest one to heal because you can't apologize your way back into somebody's faith. You gotta earn it back. Slowly. Action by action. And she ain't doing any of the actions. I want to say something about the spiritual angle one more time because I feel like it matters here. When somebody tells you God gave them somebody else's husband, that's not just bad theology. That's a red flag the size of a stadium. Because what that statement actually reveals is a worldview where consequences don't apply, accountability is optional, and the divine is on retainer to bless whatever the flesh wants. That's not faith. That's a custom-built permission slip with God's signature forged on the bottom. And the people in her life who let her say that out loud without correcting her, they failed her too. A real friend would have pulled her to the side. A real mentor would have shut that down. A real spiritual advisor would have laid hands on that situation and called it what it is. The fact that nobody did is an indictment of her circle, not just her. Let's go back to the inside of the sport for a second. The women in boxing right now is not playing about their bag. They watch their male counterparts make hundreds of millions while they fought for table scraps for decades. Now they finally got the door cracked open. They finally got the eyeballs. They finally got the leverage to negotiate. And they understand, in a way casual fans don't, that public perception of the sport is currency. Every interview matters. Every public moment matters. Every sponsorship moment matters. The face that gets put on the sport at this exact moment in history is going to define the negotiating ceiling for the next decade of female fighters. So when one fighter is creating headlines that make sponsors uncomfortable, that fighter is not just hurting herself. She is hurting the entire room. And the room is taking notes. This is also why the petition is hitting differently than past complaints. In past years, when somebody was upset about her behavior, the complaint was personal. It was emotional. It was about how she made them feel. Now, the complaint is structural. It's about what her presence is doing to the architecture of the sport itself. That's a much harder complaint to dismiss. You can dismiss feelings. You can't dismiss structure. When the petition language frames her as an obstacle to the sport's growth, it stops being about her personality and starts being about her position. And positions, unlike personalities, can be replaced through institutional decisions. That's the trap she don't see. The complaint moved from a place where she had defenses to a place where she has none. Let me say something else nobody is saying. Watch the silence from the people who used to ride for her. That silence is louder than any of the noise from her critics. When somebody who used to defend you publicly stops defending you publicly, that ain't neutral. That's a vote. That's a position. That's a decision. They didn't go to the other side, but they left your side. And the empty chairs in your corner is what loses the fight, not just the punches landing on your chin. She got more empty chairs in her corner this week than at any point in her career. And empty chairs don't throw water on you between rounds. Empty chairs don't tell you what your opponent is doing. Empty chairs don't strategize. Empty chairs just watch you swing. There is a pattern in public figure downfalls that researchers have actually studied, and it goes like this. Phase 1, the rumor phase, where the public has whispers but no proof. Phase 2, the receipts phase, where the proof arrives and the public starts forming an opinion. Phase 3, the defense phase, where the figure tries to spin the narrative and either succeeds or fails. Phase 4, the consolidation phase, where the public locks in their verdict. Phase 5, the institutional phase, where the verdict starts impacting actual business decisions, contracts, and opportunities. Most public figures never make it past Phase 3 because they manage their defense phase well. She blew past Phase 3. She is firmly in Phase 4 right now, with the consolidation almost complete. The next phase, the institutional phase, is the one where careers actually break in half. And the petition is the bridge from one to the other. Watch the body language too. Every time she's on camera now, you can see something different in her eyes. Not vulnerability. The opposite. A kind of locked-in defiance that don't read as confidence anymore. It reads as denial. There is a specific look that public figures get right before they fall, where the world has clearly shifted around them, but they are refusing to acknowledge it. The eyes get a little glassy. The jaw gets a little tight. The smile becomes a little more performed. The lies get a little more frequent because the silence between them feels too loud. Watch for those signals. They mean the inside of the situation is already past the point of repair, even if the outside is still trying to project that everything is fine. Now let me give you something to think about that nobody is going to bring up. Boxing is a contact sport. Contact sports require licensing. Licensing requires character review. Character review can be triggered by documented public concern. Documented public concern can take the form of a petition. A petition with a critical mass of signatures becomes a public record. A public record submitted to a commission becomes an item on the agenda. An item on the agenda becomes a discussion. A discussion becomes a recommendation. A recommendation becomes a policy. A policy becomes a decision. A decision becomes a future. That entire chain, from signature to decision, can play out faster than people expect when the right pressure points get touched at the right time. The system was built to absorb public input. The system is currently being fed public input at a volume it hasn't seen for any active fighter in recent memory. The system is going to respond. It always does. It might be slow, it might be quiet, but it always does. So when you hear people say it's just an internet petition, don't worry about it. That's the wrong read. Internet petitions, when they hit a certain critical mass, stop being internet and start being civic. That's not theory. That's how regulatory pressure has worked in this country for decades. It just happens slower than scandal cycles, so people don't track it back to the original signature page. But the line from signature to consequence is unbroken. It just goes through walls you can't see. Now I want to give the audience something to do. Because awareness without action is just gossip. If you're watching this and you actually care about female boxing, actually care about black women in sport, actually care about the future of the sport, here is what you do. Don't just sign or not sign the petition. Watch the next month closely. Watch which sponsors stay quiet. Watch which networks book her or don't book her. Watch which co-promoters announce or don't announce. Watch which interview opportunities come or don't come. The data is there. The data is going to tell the whole story. Pay attention to who shows up and who doesn't. Pay attention to what announcements are missing from the calendar that should have been there. Pay attention to who else gets the slot that used to be hers. The receipts is going to be in the calendar, not in the comment section. That's the pattern, and the pattern don't lie. 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 That's the pattern, and... So what happens next? Let me tell you what I think happens next, because I've been doing this long enough to read the patterns. The petition keeps growing. That's the first thing. It keeps growing because momentum on these things is exponential, not linear, once they cross a threshold. People sign because other people signed. The signature count itself becomes a piece of the conversation. It crosses 10,000. It crosses 50,000. It crosses 100,000. At some point, a major outlet picks it up. Not a blog. A real outlet. A real newsroom. ESPN. Yahoo Sports. The Athletic. Somebody. And once a real outlet covers it, it stops being internet noise and becomes a sports story with a headline and a byline. That's the shift. Then her brand partners start getting questions. Not loud questions. Quiet ones. Email questions. Phone questions. Reporters reaching out for comment questions. And those brand partners, who already had this thing flagged on their internal risk dashboards, decide, quietly, to pause. Not cancel. Pause. Because canceling an athlete is messy. Pausing is clean. They just quietly stop responding. They quietly stop posting. They quietly let the contract roll over without renewal language. And by the time anybody notices, the deal is over and nobody had to issue a statement. Then the network conversations start. Promotional dollars start moving. The next big card she was supposed to headline becomes a co-feature. The co-feature becomes an undercard mention. The undercard mention becomes radio silence, where her people start saying she's taking time away from the sport for personal reasons. That's the script. That's how it always goes. That's the soft fade nobody can sue over. Then, and this is the part that's going to hit different, the next generation rolls in. Younger fighters. Hungrier fighters. More marketable fighters. Fighters with clean off-camera lives. Fighters who post their family. Fighters who wave at fans. Fighters who say the right thing in the post-fight interview and smile in the brand campaign. The sport replaces her without ever having to fire her. That's how dynasties end. Not with a knockout. With a younger, smarter, less controversial replacement quietly taking the seat at the table while the old name fades into the background of group photos. That's the future I see for her if nothing changes. And the only thing that could change it is humility, and we ain't seen a single drop of that yet. Not one. So I have no reason to believe it's coming. Now let me leave you with this, because I want this to land. There's a moment in every public figure's downfall where the universe gives them one last off-ramp. One last clear, obvious, unmistakable chance to take a different road. Sometimes it shows up as a public apology opportunity. Sometimes it shows up as a moment of vulnerability that the public would have rewarded with grace. Sometimes it's a private conversation that, if leaked, would have changed the narrative. Sometimes it's a step back from social media for 60 days. Sometimes it's just shutting up. The off-ramp is always there. Always. The universe is fair like that. The question is never whether it appears. The question is whether you take it. And the people who take it, they survive. They thrive. They come back. The people who keep their foot on the gas straight past the off-ramp, they crash. Every time. No exceptions. She is at the off-ramp right now. Today. This week. This month. The petition is the off-ramp lit up in neon. The blogger stepping back is the off-ramp lit up in neon. Her own demographic walking away is the off-ramp lit up in neon. Even the inside of her own sport is the off-ramp lit up in neon. The signs is everywhere, visible from a mile away. Anybody with a working set of eyes can see them, and she is hitting the gas. That's the part that's heartbreaking, if you got even a little bit of empathy in you. Because under all of this, somewhere, there is a person. There is a story. There is a child who used to dream about boxing. There is a young woman who grinded through poverty to get to the top of a sport that didn't even respect women a decade ago. There is an athlete who, on her best day, could absolutely fight, could absolutely compete, could absolutely earn her place. And that person is currently being buried under everything she keeps doing to herself. Buried by her own hand, buried by her own choices, buried by her own refusal to listen. The talent is in there somewhere. The career is in there somewhere. The redemption is in there somewhere. But she keeps shoveling dirt on top of it instead of digging it out. That's the tragedy nobody is naming. We out here making fun of the situation, and yeah, some of it is funny, because some of it is so crazy you have to laugh. But underneath the laugh is a real story about a real woman who is on a real path that ends in a real bad place if she don't turn the wheel. I hope she turned the wheel. I really do. I'm not in the business of celebrating people falling. I'm in the business of telling truth. And the truth is, the wheel is in her hand. The wheel has been in her hand the whole time. The petition didn't take the wheel from her. The bloggers didn't take the wheel from her. The wife didn't take the wheel from her. The fans didn't take the wheel from her. She got the wheel. She always had the wheel. The question is whether she ever decides to use it. That's where I leave it. If this hit, if this connected, if this made you see the situation different, do me a favor. Drop a comment. Tell me where you stand. Tell me if you signing the petition or if you sitting it out. Tell me if you think she pulls out of this or if you think the slide is permanent. Tell me what you would do if you was her publicist for one day. Because the conversation in the comments is sometimes wilder than the video itself, and y'all know how I feel about an active comment section. Engage. Talk to each other. Argue. Debate. That's how we keep the truth honest. Hit that subscribe button if you ain't already, because the next one is going to be even crazier. There's a whole second piece to this story that we couldn't fit in this video, and I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss it. We talking inside information, behind the scenes stuff, names that ain't been named yet. Some of it I can't even tease all the way because I don't want to get ahead of my own coverage. But it's coming. And when it drops, the people who subscribe today is going to be the first to know. Until then, stay locked in. Stay sharp. Stay reading between the lines like we taught you. Don't let nobody, famous or not, sell you a story that don't add up. Always check the receipts. Always count the dominoes. Always ask the question they don't want you to ask. This is Battle Truth. Live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Out.